Alright, today is the first actual attempt at armor penetration with the BA Shredder. So this rifle right here, we're going to be shooting 243. This is SIG 55 grain. Now this doesn't have a high likelihood of penetration for the simple fact it's a ballistic tip. They make these tips intentionally so even a small animal will cause the tip to expand and fall apart. This way your round isn't skipping across the cornfield into the neighbor's house if, say, you're shooting at small game. We're going to give it a try anyway. It might have the legs to penetrate. What we're looking at for velocity, it's on here somewhere. 3,800 feet per second, but I believe that's out of a 24-inch barrel, so I should be getting somewhere around 34, which still does have the velocity. Like if this was an FMJ, I'd have no doubt it would go through the armor. The armor we're shooting at is 3/8 steel. That's about double as thick as a bulletproof vest or a ballistic plate until you get up to level 4 ceramic, then that's a different ball of wax. But we'll give her some shots and see how it goes. But before... Now the purpose of this video was to test the 243 against body armor. At this point in time I didn't have any actual body armor to test, so I picked the steel target. That's AR500, which is your standard steel plate. And I went with a target that's twice as thick as a steel plate of body armor. So this way, you know, can it penetrate it? And if so, how much can it penetrate? I didn't want to just test it against something the same size as actual plate body armor, because if it just barely was able to penetrate it, you know, I would want to know. But I figured if I could penetrate twice the thickness of a steel plate of body armor, I'm golden. Alright, so I'm not zero for that ammo. I couldn't figure out where I was hitting because I just got wood behind it. So I just shot the bigger plate, so let's go take a look at the bigger plate. Looks like I hit right here. Almost penetrated. Almost. Got a huge divot on the back. Definitely if it was an FMJ it would penetrate. But I was shooting at this one. I couldn't find my point of impact. I was aiming about here, so it looks like I'll have to aim a little bit above it. We'll try this one more time. There we go. Now I scored a hit on that little plate. Oh, look at that. Full penetration. Nice. Punched right through. So what was the difference between the two plates? Why was I not able to punch through the big one, but I was able to slide right through this one? Are they different sizes? Are they different material? Is the bigger one a superior alloy? No, they're exactly the same. Exact same size, exact same material. The difference is, because the big plate was laying at an angle something like this, your projectile actually has to travel through more material. When it hits it straight on, it's only traveling through 3/8 of material. But when it's at an angle such as this, it actually has to travel through a thicker part of steel. It's actually a tactic they use in tank building. That's why a tank is always at some sort of angle, because you can actually double the size of the thickness of your armor, because it has to go through and it has to take a path that takes it through more steel. Then if it were to go straight through, this is the shortest path. You start turning it, the path gets longer and longer. So when it's turned at this angle, my projectile would have had to pass through a 1/2 inch of AR500. It just can't do that. However, it can pass through 3/8. So that was what you were seeing. Angles matter. That's why with body armor, it matters, like, are you getting shot straight on? Is it coming through at an angle? What's going on here? And you want to watch with body armor testing too to make sure they don't lay their body armor plates at an angle, because, well, that gives a body armor plate an advantage. They should be standing straight up and against some sort of surface like clay or something like that. Anyway, that's the gist of it. Yes, a 243 is more than capable of punching through this size of steel. Now this right here where we got a plug, it's because there was actually another piece of steel behind this with a piece of wood. Because when the 243 hits, the projectile explodes, but it transfers all the kinetic energy into this. It creates a fracture, and it turns this into the projectile. The bullet doesn't exist anymore. That thing's gone. It exploded on impact. However, it turns a piece of the steel itself into a projectile flying at a couple hundred feet per second. Well, in this particular case right here, because of how this was set up on that circle thing, it was on there, and then there was a metal ring behind it, which was actually right where this was. The metal ring kind of sat like this, and behind that metal ring there was also a piece of wood, so it kept the plug actually in the steel and it didn't fully exit. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this content and you'd like to help support the channel, I got my Patreon right there. I also have affiliate links in the description down below. Just by clicking on those links, even if you don't purchase what that particular link is for, just clicking on it and then doing the Amazon shopping you were already going to do anyway. I had a little kickback for it because you came there off my channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.